It's perfect. It's perfect.
Can I just sit this? I can sit this
in
in
the
the corner
glass.
over there.
I'm right behind him. I got you. Hey, good to see you again.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Can all of you hear me? Barely.
What does it say here?
Good evening, good evening. We'd like to welcome you to our mayoral candidate forum. I am Dr. Jalen Eli. I am the president of Patterson Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and we want to officially welcome you to our forum with all of our partners here at the Patterson Museum. Give yourselves a round of applause because it is not robbery that you come out to hear the platforms of those that are on the ballot for the mayor race in our city. So this is just one thing that we do, that we are charged with. We are charged with social action as we continue to be on the front lines in our city and globally and beyond, as well of our partners that are sponsoring this event. At this time, it is fitting, we are charged also with making sure that you know your safety protocols when we are in a public setting. As members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, we have to make sure that when we're having public forums that you know your immediate exit and your first emergency exit. So please make sure you look around the room, look next to those that are next to you, so that way if emergency does arise, you know how to make sure you get our residents and all of you out safely. So just please make sure you pay close attention to that. At this time, I would like to introduce to you, some of you know him, longtime resident in our city. He is, I consider him my other father, right? So you do know him. It is Dale Skip Van Rensselaer,
Yes.
is a lifelong Pattersonian, graduate of the Mecca Howard University in Washington, D.C., and has worked for Patterson Public Schools as a school social worker, primarily at Eastside High School, where his voice was the voice of the Marching 100 for over 37 years.
Is it outside?
We know him as
Is it
Skip.
outside?
We know him as the longtime
Is it
manager of the R&B group Riff. We know him as
Text me,
musical
Marcus,
extraordinaire.
text
We
me,
know
please.
him as a seasoned member of the First AME Zion Church. We also know him as a community activist, a seasoned community activist, longtime member of Delta Mu Lambda fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Mu Lambda chapter. He is a lifelong resident here and Lifetime Achievement Award recipient in music. And the list goes on and on and on. And I must say, and it's not here, but because I know that he is the author of 2 books. Amen. So please just make sure you give him a round of applause as he comes to the podium. Dale Skip Van Rensselaer, our master of ceremonies for this afternoon.
Amen. I don't understand, but every time someone knows that I'm going to be emceeing, I've had about 4 people come to me already. Don't tell a joke. Don't tell a joke. So I'm going to be obedient. Reverend Powell is looking at me. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I think this is a very important election. I don't want to go off script, but it is a very important election. It's good to see all of you people here this afternoon. So I'm going to proceed, and the first order of business is to bring up one of my fraternity brothers and the pastor of Shiloh Amy Zion Church in Inglewood, Reverend John D. Givens, for the opening prayer.
Thank you, Brother Skip. Good evening, my beloved. Good evening. I normally say good evening, Dee, but I'm going to say now on this platform, good evening, Patterson. Good evening. How are we doing? What a family reunion. I look around. This is a family reunion. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, for you are our God and we are your people. You are our Father and we are your children. Father, you have done it again. You have blessed us with another opportunity, another day. And you've blessed us with another 4 years. Now, oh God, we have come together as a community, as an organization, and as political leaders of our community. But Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ, we attempt to do nothing without your guidance, your mercy. So we ask now, oh God, for your presence. Your word teaches us that where 2 or 3 together in touching and believing, you are in our midst. So we say thank you, God, for your presence this evening. Thank you, oh God, for all of who are here. Thank you, oh God, for our candidates as well. Oh Father, open up our hearts and our mind to hear and to receive. And we say thank you, God, for democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Thank you, oh God. Be with us tonight as we go through this process. In Jesus' name, let us all say amen. Amen. And amen again. Amen. Say praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Let's go to work.
I love pastors. Give a pastor a mic and I'm sorry, Pastor. A lot of educators in the room. Before I go to the protocols for this afternoon, this evening's forum, young lady went to her guidance counselor because she was having problems with vocabulary. He was teaching her, tutoring her. And he had a little card with the word disco. You know what disco means? She said, I know what disco means. He said, use it in a sentence. She said, I got a new job. And the guy told me to put some things on the shelf. Now, I don't want to make mistakes. I said, where'd this go? Okay. You all remember those take-home jokes when you were in school? Take it home. And, you know, I'll give you my number. Call me later on and just... Okay. Event overview, easy job that I have this evening. These are the protocols for this evening's forum. This is a forum, not a debate. Each candidate will present their platforms and engage in dialogue with the panelists and the audience. There will be no loud outbursts from the panelists or the audience. No rude or disrespectful behavior will be tolerated. If you do not abide by the rules that have been set forth, you will be asked very politely to leave the venue. Disrespect will not be tolerated. All mayoral candidates have been invited via phone and letter invitation. The candidates that are here, that you see before you, have accepted the invitation and are prepared to present. Because this event is a forum and not a debate, your responses should be concise and focused rather than argumentative. We expect candidates to keep remarks brief and prioritized due to time restraints. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to respond to each question. Audience members are welcome to submit questions. Committee members are distributing index cards for participants to record their inquiries. If you inquire or need assistance with formulating your question, please notify one of the individuals in the aisle. Please note, voter registration is also taking place in the entrance corridor. If you are not a registered voter or perhaps unsure of your status, please visit the voter registration table for more information. And now we will have the introduction of the moderator for the evening. And it's my pleasure to bring up, to make that introduction, former First Ward Councilman and current president of the Patterson Chapter number 15 AARP, Mr. Anthony Ebony Davis.
It was the worst of times, and it was the best of times. One of my favorite Charles Dickens, The Tale of Two Cities. Patterson, we have our tale of two cities. What is going to be? I have the honor and pleasure to introduce this individual before we took pleasure on the gridiron iron at the Hinchliffe Stadium or School Bowling for School 15 that time. We also played football against each other in the streets of Patterson. Delton Price serves as the Worshipful Master of Integrity Lodge, number 51, Prince Hall affiliate in Patterson. Delton Price is the author of the Guide of Community Policing 3.0, rejuvenating today's most fragile and important relationships, which is available soon on Amazon. Delton Price is a New Jersey State Academy instructor and who teaches racial influence, policing, crisis and prevention, and cultural diversity. Delton Price serves as the first and current president of Bronx Shield State County and the first vice president of the Patterson chapter of NAACP. Delton Price is currently the director of security and emergency prevention for Patterson Public School. Okay, Delton is moving up. Delton is a good guy. I'm proud to call him a friend and a protector of Patterson. Loves his family and loves the city of Patterson. No other than Delton Price.
Thank you, Councilman. You left out East Side won that game. It's okay. I had to slide it in, Mike. Had to slide it in. It ain't many times we've won, so I had to make sure I got that in.
What was the score? What was the score?
I don't know. A win's a win.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We're going to have a good time this evening. Yeah. We're going to enjoy ourselves, and we're going to act like we're from Patterson. We all know what that means, right? We're going to shine. I have the pleasing duty first to recognize some of the dignitaries in the room. We're all dignitaries, but in particular, County Commissioner Rodney DeVore, former Assemblywoman Elise Evans, former Council President Ebony Davis, Undersheriff Timothy Wheeler, Councilwoman Maritza Davila, Assemblyman Al Delaziz, and School Board Commissioner-elect Dr. Hall. From Passaic. So we're going to get started. The directions have already been given out. Again, this is a forum and not a debate. We're here to talk about you, learn about you,
and not learn about how you feel about the person next to you. It's very important that this audience learns who you are, exactly who you are. So that's what we're going to do this evening. We're going to discuss those things, and the questions are geared toward that. Who you are, how would you do things? How would you do things moving forward? Anything else just take time out of our room, and it doesn't help us. And I know everyone here, and I believe that we can do that. Correct. So we're going to start introductions on this end. This is the closest end. Each person, as I introduce you, you have 5 minutes to state your case. Explain who you are, what is your purpose, why are you here, and whatever else you need to explain, but you have 5 minutes to do that. Just so you understand, you do not have to use the 5 minutes. Okay? You don't. Don't feel responsible to use the 5 minutes. If you can say it in 3, say it in 3, and we'll keep moving. Fair enough? So first we have sitting councilman from the 1st Ward, Michael Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Price. It may be a little questionable if I'm going to get some fair treatment from him after the East Side over Kennedy remarks. But, so this is actually a very generous group. 5 minutes is something that I'm not used to. But I'm going to skip. I think at this point, everyone is quite familiar with who I am. And I really want to get right into the meat of why we're here. We're here because I think the 3 of us believe that we are the best candidate or best person to move our city in a new direction. I'm here to not convince you of why I'm the best, but just kind of outline why I feel I'm the best candidate for the position and what do I have in store for our city once I'm placed. You know, I've been a councilman for 12 years and I've had an opportunity to learn the ins and outs of what is actually going on. Many of you have watched me. Some of you refuse to watch because of some of the turmoil that happens night in and night out, which I think is very much so necessary. You know, our city, the city that I remember, has always been a very beautiful place, a bright place for kids to thrive, to be able to feel safe on the streets of Patterson, to ride their bikes from East 23rd Street to East Side Park, to walk from Kennedy High School to Clinton Street. And those days, in my opinion, are long gone. Not only do I not feel comfortable allowing my children to do those things that I've done, but we unfortunately had to witness, and now with the new technology of video, we've seen some of our young people gunned down in our streets. And it's, oh, okay. So, you know, with that being said, I think that, you know, it's imperative that we look at forging a new direction in our community. And one of the biggest challenges that we have is our finances. When I came on as a council, our budget was $225 million. It is now $330 million. It has increased in the last 7 to 8 years over $100 million. And we still have not have anything to show for it. And in my opinion, it's because we're allowing for our city to be drained. No matter how much water you put into a tub, if a hole is in the bottom of that tub larger than the water that's coming in, you will never fill that tub. And that's what's happening in Patterson. We have a barrage of outside contractors that are making astronomical amounts of money in our community, from $25 to $30 million in developers' fees, overcharging for construction costs, overcharging for road resurfacing, beating our residents over the head with fees that legally they're not allowed to charge. When tenants are now paying in excess of $2,500 to $3,000, and we then allow those developers and those landlords to charge our residents $250 in parking, which is illegal. It's not on our, it's in our charter that is not allowed, but we do not allow that. We allow developers to take advantage of our community, and in turn, that abuse turns into trauma. It turns into trauma, it turns into stress, which we see exacerbated on our streets. We see it flowing through their children. We see it flowing through the children that have no programming. You know, over the last 8 years, we've celebrated many things, and some of the things I think we ought to give credit to. But when we're focusing more on facilities and not on people, we're dropping the ball. We're dropping the ball on our community. We're dropping the ball on our children. We're dropping the ball for those who can work in our community. If you look at the current state of our city, the majority of the cabinet, they all live outside the city. None of them have a vested interest. Over the last several years, the last several decades of previous administrations, all of the administrative staff lived in the city. They had a vested interest here. They had family members here. So tonight, I'm expecting to express to you a full-fledged plan on how to change that. Not just talk, not just saying, oh, I'm going to clean up the streets in 3 months. Oh, I'm not going to stop the violence in one stroke of a pen. I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm going to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the current mayor, Andre Sayed.
Good evening, Patterson. As I look around this room, I can't help but reflect when we were introduced to each other first. I was serving on the school board. And I just recently received some very tragic news that someone I served with, and some of you have served with her as well, Commissioner William A. Taylor has left this life. So I think it's only appropriate that we have a moment of silence for her service to our city. May she rest in eternal peace, and let us pray for her family. I'm here to talk about expanding opportunities. When I first served on the school board, one thing that I was very passionate about was having students wear school uniforms, because I understood that some people could not afford certain wear. And I worked with Dr. Joseph Fulmore, and we engaged the parents. And it wasn't popular with students, but we thought it was the right thing. Because students shouldn't be competing over what they wear. They should be competing over what they know. And from there, we started our legacy of service. And opportunities to grow, I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Brenda Belmont when I was a councilman in the 6th Ward. And we had a notorious nightclub that was compromising the quality of life for those residents. And we not only shut down that nightclub, Dr. Belmont opened up a preschool in that area, which was underserved. When I became mayor, she expanded to have her 3rd site to serve our students as a part of early childhood education. We've also expanded opportunities to the urban enterprise zone, something that is outside of the box. We created what's called a Clean Commercial Corridor program. And we hired a Pattersonian who owns a local business here, Tashawn Wells, and he received a contract, the Wells Cleaning Company, to clean our business districts. We've also brought back a point of pride for us, Hinchliffe Stadium. But it wasn't just about the stadium. It was about affordable housing that is not too far from the stadium. That's a part of it. It's about making sure that jobs that were created, whether it's in concession, security, or maintenance, belong to Patterson residents. In fact, I'm proud of the fact that one of the residents that lives in those apartments, Leon Moses, is also the head of security at Hinchliffe Stadium. So it created a job opportunity and a housing opportunity for a resident as well. And then we've attracted teams to play. And one team is a women's professional football team. And 3 of the players live in Patterson. One of them is Marquisha Guthrie, who I met playing football at School 15 many years ago. And a civil rights museum has been opened up as well that features a film that speaks to the pride that we have here in the city of Patterson. As far as expanding opportunities are concerned, we are going to be welcoming a film studio in Patterson, which will create more job opportunities for our residents. But it'll also create internships and apprenticeships opportunities for our students. And logically, I believe Rosa Parks High School, those students will benefit by having a film studio as well. But in addition to expanding opportunities, it's about empowerment. And we created a program, the Financial Empowerment Center, the only one in the state of New Jersey and one of 30 in the country, where we help people get back on track financially at no cost. We have stories of one gentleman by the name of James Brown, who started at a 300 credit score. And as a result of the program, his credit score is almost 800. And then as a result of his participation in increasing his credit score, he now started a nonprofit organization. We have a story of a single mom raising 2 children who just wanted to become a business owner in the city of Patterson, but was deep in debt and had a poor credit score. She participated in our program, she improved her credit score, She reduced her debt, and now she owns a laundromat on Belmont Avenue. But I also want to continue to hold everyone, including myself, accountable. Illegal dumping has been a pressing problem, and we've prosecuted 25 people to date, and they've had to pay $100,000 in fines. Patterson is not a dumping ground. Patterson is where we live and the place we love. And I am a proud Pattersonian. And when I look in this room, there are many proud Pattersonians too. So I want to continue to serve all of Patterson with pride, with dignity, and integrity. Thank you.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you so very much. Good afternoon. First of all, let me say thank you to this great organization for this phenomenal debate. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, because just by you taking the time to be here, that means you care about the city of Patterson, the weather. It's beautiful out there, and you could be in any other place, but you choose to be here. I'm Bronny, I'm Alex Mendes, I'm 1A on the ballots, I'm well known in the community. I started serving at the Board of Education in 2010, and let's clear the record. I was the one that introduced the uniform policy into the public school, alongside with Kenneth Simon, with Chris Irvin, my two great partners that support me to get that legislation passed, and that is the reason why our children are wearing uniform in the city of Patterson. But moving forward, I want us to remember when Patterson was a great city, clean and safe. Let's think about this. Patterson has the greatest potential to be one of the best cities in the state of New Jersey. But when you Google our city, it comes out as the worst city in Passaic County and the third worst city in the state of New Jersey to live. And I refuse to see that number. I refuse to see the city that investing less and less money on recreation, less money on library. What is the future for our children? We're building parks, and our kids and family, they're afraid to go there because they're afraid of getting shot. We all saw what happened this past weekend. This needs to stop. I see so many great Pattersonians live in the city because they can't afford it to live in the city of Patterson due to the high taxes in the city. Over 4,000 property were assessed under this administration without the person going inside the property. It was a drive-by assessment, putting those numbers, unrealistic number on those property. I've been doing, as we speak, tax appeal in my office at 414 Broadway. We have done over 150 tax appeal already, and we're gonna continue helping our families until May 1st to appeal the taxes. If you look around Patterson, I don't need to tell you that Patterson is filthy. We all know that. I was the councilman that introduced the legislation to increase the dumping fees to up to $10,000. Are we enforcing that legislation? I don't think so. I was a councilman that introduced the legislation, Patterson First, to make sure that every job opportunity get open for Patterson resident first. We need to create jobs in this community. Our family, they're struggling in this city, and we must do something. I truly believe that 8 years is way enough for this administration to stay there. If you look at our finance, when we start asking, we asked the state for $23 million to state aid. Then we went to 25. Then we went up to 30, then to 33. Now we're asking for $48.5 million. When enough is enough. That means we're spending money that we don't have. If you look at the newspaper, this administration, they even haven't give the report of the expenditure on the last storm, and every other city submit the report. There's no report from this administration. Enough is enough. This administration is being irresponsible in terms of spending, and that's the reason why we're going through a very difficult situation. It's serious what happened. You need somebody with a business background to get into the second floor of the mayor's office and do the right thing and take those decisions to make the city of Patterson a better place, not for one group, but for everybody. Like I said, Patterson is an amazing city, but we all have to work together. And I'm the type of person that I could bring everybody into the room. It doesn't matter if you like me or no. I have the ability to sit down and work with you. I have no problem. It's not about me. It's about my children. It's about your children. It's about the family. I came with the city with nothing in my hands. I've been very successful in business. I have 3 beautiful children. My daughter is graduating this May 7th from Howard University. Alexander Jr., he's at the school board fighting against the closing of the school. And I have a little one that is ready to go to the Marine. Patterson is an amazing city, but you need to have the government that will look out for your family. We're not doing enough for our children. We're losing our children. There's no hope for our children. Those kids that are going to college, they're not coming back. Do you think that they're gonna come back to the Patterson that we have? I don't think so. They're not coming back. We have to make the city accessible and available for those young men and women that after college they come back and call Patterson home. Thank you once again. Alex Mendez, 1A.
Thank you, Councilman. Next question. The following questions, you have 3 minutes to answer. Okay, so next question, we'll start in the middle with the mayor. What is your plan to reduce the overall crowdedness and the safety issues that are plaguing this city?
So first of all, I want to point out that when we started, there were over 2,000 abandoned and vacant properties in the city of Patterson. Now there are roughly 200. There were eyesores, there were crime magnets, and quite frankly, we've seen neighborhoods revitalized as a result. And we emphasize the importance of affordable housing. We've built 500 units to date to accommodate senior citizens, to accommodate individuals with chronic medical conditions, and also just low-income families. And our plan going forward is to build more affordable housing. As a matter of fact, we're going to be introducing legislation that any development would have 20% affordable units set aside for individuals. But I also want to point out that public safety is not just about policing. It's about taking a holistic approach to it. That's why we have a reentry program that we established in my office to help people who have been recently released from jail or prison secure employment, insurance, health insurance, or something simple as identification. We also have a Real Fix program where people who are struggling with drug addiction can get treatment for what ails them. We also have a Community Solutions program. Now, Community Solutions focuses on low-level, nonviolent offenders who, unfortunately, they get stuck in the criminal justice system, and their opportunities for advancement in life are impaired. So over 100 people have benefited from this particular program. I also want to say that the trust between the police and the public was something we should focus on. I've worked with Lieutenant Price. When I started, not a single police officer in the city of Patterson wore a body camera. Now every single police officer in the city of Patterson wears a body camera. This ensures accountability for everyone, whether it's the police officer or the individual involved in the interaction. So there's always room for improvement. That's one of the things I want to focus on, aligning all of our efforts to ensure a safer city and a stronger city as well. But we want to continue to emphasize the fact that people are struggling and they do need assistance, and we do need more affordable housing. The demand is there. The supply must meet the demand. And so that's why we are determined not only to focus on seniors and low-income families, but there are veterans that need affordable housing as well. Thank you.
Councilman Mendez, need to repeat the question.
Thank you. Yeah, no, you don't have to repeat it. It's all about the overdevelopment that we have in the city of Patterson. Quite honestly, we're not talking about only affordable housing. This administration, they've been pushing this overdevelopment. There's not even one parking spot for you to park if you come home after 6 o'clock. We got to look into that. Enough is enough. This administration, the last 8 years, it's overdevelopment. And when you see a single family, they're turning down when they build 20 and 30 units apartment. What are we doing with our city? We got to be honest what we're doing. We're pushing our residents to break the law. We have people parking on the corner, blocking this crosswalk, blocking the fire hydrant, because there's no other place to park. We got to look into one of the things that I'm going to do once I become your mayor. I'm going back to the original. We have to check the redevelopment plan that we have for the city. We have to go back into the table, because what we have now, we have to stop that. We have to be able to see what I'm in full support of affordable housing. And in fact, I'm looking forward to work hand in hand with the Patterson Housing Authority and give them back the power to bond, to go hard on affordable housing based on income. We all know that our family are struggling here. They can't pay rent, and that's something that needs to stop. But definitely I'm looking forward. But the overdevelopment in the city needs to stop. We have to protect our Patterson residents, our homeowners, and I've been pushing homeownership since before being elected to the council, because that's my expertise and that's my job. When it comes to public safety, one of the things that I'm going to do, we have to remember, this administration lost the control of the Patterson Police Department. The state took over because of the lack of leadership. Let's talk about what happened. And we've been sued by the 2 former chief of police because of this administration. What I'm going to do now, we're getting $8.5 million from the state. I'm going to work very close with the state. We all want to regain local control, but I want to work with the state. And with those $8.5 million, instead of investing that money in overtime, we could bring over close to 100 police officers. We could put 50 police officers to resource and work with the Patterson Public School to bring safety in our school and in the surrounding community. And the rest, we could put it out there for call for service, blocking driver, and those quality of life issues that are affecting the city. That's what I'm doing. Bringing the Class 2 police officer is going to be a choice of my administration to address the call for service. We have police responders it's way too high, 3 hours, 2 hours, and we understand we don't have enough manpower, and we could fix that with the money that we're getting from the state. They haven't done it, we're going to do it. Thank you.
Councilman Jackson.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
What is your plan to reduce the overcrowdedness and the safety issues that are plaguing the city?
Thank you. I was a bit confused. But anyway, I'm going to try to stay on task. I'm going to answer every question for what the question actually is. But I'm going to start this one with a story. There was a young lady from our community. She was shot. And while she was shot, there was a cop that sat there and watched. After the criminal case was over, I helped this young lady fight against the county to make sure she received the compensation for the lack of reporting that officer did. During that time, we had a developer who graciously, and I respect him for it, he gave her an apartment for a year. After that year was over, there was a program that was supposed to continue to pay him. The program didn't pay him, so he evicted her. Once he evicted her and she received her reward, almost $1 million from the county, she called me crying. I can't get an apartment. I can't go nowhere. I have an eviction on my record. I reached out to that developer. I said, listen, I need a favor. He said, no problem. I'll take care of it. By the way, that project that you were talking about last week, that's my... Now, some of you may not understand what that was, but yeah, sure, I'll do what you're asking. And it wasn't that. It was just a reminder that that's this project. And I said, you know what? I'll leave the room. I'm not going to support anything I don't believe in, but I'll get up and... I had to come back in the room because council members that are now claiming they're going to do something different voted to expand the redevelopment zone across the street so that that project can also get built without any provisions. What we have to do is be very firm and secure about what our intent is. We cannot allow developers to take this redevelopment project and 30-year tax abatements that the mayor and everyone else has been saying these are right away, as of right tax abatements. That is a lie. The administration is shifted. It went from the council's approval to now an administrative approval. We used to have 12 pilots on the books. We have over 500. The pilot program was set to expire in 2023. It is required that the council take a vote after the state expanded it. We never did. The moment I'm elected, we're going back to 2023. Every single project that did not have a CO after 2023 will not be eligible for a pilot. We cannot continue to allow the overbuilding in all of the neighborhoods that cannot sustain, and then we go back and target our residents for the poor parking. We allow those same developers to charge those residents that they're charging elaborate rents to. We allow them to charge for parking, and now they're not parking in those garages. They're now parking on those streets that never had parking there before. I will be responsible. Lastly, we're going to make every single LLC, if there's an LLC that owns a property, you will be required to obtain a business license to do business in the city of Patterson. If you don't do business properly, you're not treating our residents properly, your business license will be revoked.
Thank you. Next question, we will start with Councilman Mendez. As mayor, what would your first 100 days look like?
As you all know, I've been very vocal about the condition of the city because I travel a lot. I go to Passaic County, Hudson County through my business, through my real estate business, and I refuse to see the condition of the city the way it is. And I've been fighting against this dumping situation. I've been speaking about, listen, the first 100 days, I'm going to concentrate in cleaning the city of Patterson. One of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bulk scheduling away. That doesn't work. We want our senior to scheduling the bulk pickup. Dumping is being increasing tremendously after this, and I recommend administration to take this away. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to public work. One of the things that we have to do with public work, we have to increase the salary. Our DPW workers, the reason why we don't have drivers is because they don't make no money. We cannot compete on the job market. This administration, they have not invested the right amount of money in public work. I'm going to invest money in public work to get the drivers available for our recycling, to get the drivers available for our bulk pickup, and to have the manpower that we need. We're going to scale, we're going to take that away, and we're going to make sure that we know when you could take the bulk pickup, and ultimately we're going to bring bulk back into the contract. That's what I'm going to do when it comes to public work. I'm going to work with public safety. That's important. Public safety and recreation. Those are the three topics that I'm going to concentrate on the first 100 days. Public safety, going back with the state, sitting with the state to reallocate those funding that we're getting the right way to bring safety in every corner. I want to make sure that our kids within the summer, I want to make sure that they go to the park and they feel free. I want to make sure that the family go around the community without having the fear of getting shot or getting robbed by any person that go driving around in those dirt bike that go illegally. And, you know, let's clear. I introduced a legislation when the council was approved against those dirt bikes to take it away. We haven't enforced it yet. The enforcement is a big problem. I'm going to work with enforcement the first 100 days. I'm going to clean the city of Patterson, and I'm going back with public safety to get the right plan to bring safety into the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Brother Price. So the first 100 days, we're going to, from day one, we're going to look to deprivatize our government. Right now, we're spending so much money on outsourcing outside contractors, we're getting beat over the head. The garbage company sends in 6 to 7 trucks a day into our community. 6 to 7 trucks with maybe 3 guys that is manning those trucks. If we turned around today and we brought, and by the way, that contract is almost $40 million in the contract cycle. If we bought 10 trucks, a truck is about $350,000 a piece. Let's say we pay $400,000 and we add snow plows and chains to them so they can double as plows in the winter. 10 trucks at $400,000 is $4 million. We've already realized the savings. Those trucks will last for 20 years. We'll have a savings right there. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to clean the city and not tell you how we're going to do it. All of the great ideas of cleaning the city is only going to cost the taxpayers dollars if you don't know how exactly you're going to do it. The same thing applies for road resurfacing. We're paying 5 to 10 times more than we should be paying for road resurfacing. We had a contract that we did across the street from Wendy's, right on Memorial Drive. All it was a big cement masonry tank. It was a $5 million contract. A change order came through for $2 million. I was the only one who pushed back on that. We can no longer allow outside contractors to take advantage of us. So road resurfacing, garbage contract, we're doing our own garbage. We won't have to worry about who's doing the bulk. Of course we'll do the bulk. And we'll do our own recycling, making it mandatory to recycle, hiring more inspectors, kicking your garbage can. If you got glass in there, you're going to get a ticket. You cannot, you have to recycle. The less weight we have in garbage, it saves us money. Right now, we don't have a recycling program. We have a recycling wish. And we wish that people recycle. No, you have to recycle. We went out, we took money from the UEZ. We spent $4 million per garbage can in the corners, and it all stayed full. And we spent money on recycling cans, and people put their regular household garbage in there. And then restaurants and businesses and other people, whoever, they throw Food Town shopping bags outside for the animals to come and track all over it. The garbage men are coming, it's all over our streets. We're going to have a new process with inspectors following every truck, not just monitoring the households, but also monitoring those on the truck. Putting your can back on your sidewalk and not just throwing it all over the place. We're going to have some accountability here, but we'll also have pride. And on every side of every garbage truck will say Patterson Pride. And lastly, instead of wasting $1.7 million on 70 phenomenal cameras that we still haven't seen, I'll pay $40 and buy 10,000 dashboard cameras, and all of you can be informants. You put that dashboard camera in your window. The moment you see somebody throw a Wendy's bag out the window, bring that card down here, and we're going to share that reward with you. We're going to clean up the city, and we're going to save you money doing it.
Thank you. Mayor Sayer?
Yeah, for the record, Councilman Jackson, you know we do enforce recycling in the city because Councilman Mendez got a ticket for not properly recycling. So, but first, or should I say the next 100 days, we are going to finally reconstruct River Street. It will be done. It will be done by the end of this summer. We're also going to continue to repave roads like Railroad Avenue, the lower portion of Governor Street, and Curtis Place near the old Salvation Army. So road resurfacing will continue in our city. As a matter of fact, we've repaved 176 streets. By the end of the summer, we should have about 200 streets repaved. I also want to point out, we have a plan for not one, but 2 recreation centers in Patterson. We owe it to our youth, our senior citizens, for that recreation center. As a matter of fact, it's probably the first time I'll say this publicly, we're working in partnership with the police department. In fact, Lieutenant Sharon Easton Lassiter is spearheading this effort to open up our first recreation center. The next recreation center will be on Front Street in the First Ward as well. So I want to focus on continue the road resurfacing, the recreation center, and the financial empowerment center. We were using federal funding for this initiative. Unfortunately, the federal funding is no longer available. But now we've applied for a grant with the Dodge Foundation, and we've received 2 more years of funding so that we can continue to help people save money, reduce their debt, purchase a home in Patterson, and also potentially become business owners in the city of Patterson. And yes, we're going to continue to focus on public safety and all of the innovative programs that we've initiated, whether it be the Real Fix program or the Community Solutions program. We want to create more success stories in our city through programs that are unprecedented that we've implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Since you've all served the city, this is a fair question for everyone. And we'll start with Councilman Jackson. If you had to grade your performance and how you served the city, what grade would you give yourself? I'll repeat the question.
Thank you.
If you had to grade yourself on your performance as serving the city, what grade would you give yourself?
Honestly, I would have to give myself a C+. A C+. I'll tell you why. I'm going to give myself an A for effort. I'll give myself a slightly less well-performing grade for those moments of outbursts and my inability to persuade my fellow council members and mayor. But I also have to give myself some grace because some people aren't here to be persuaded. They already have their agendas set. You know, I'm going to feel a little tender-hearted for my good fellow Councilman Mendez, who's probably the only person in the city that's been ticketed for recycling. As I have been the only restaurant in the city that was ticketed after midnight where we don't have evening inspectors, except when you're a councilman and you're adverse to the mayor. So, you know, listen, but I'm going to tell you where I give myself passing grades at. My integrity, my full-fledged honesty, where every transaction that took place behind closed doors, I brought it to you, the public, and I've exposed it. I've apologized when I've made mistakes, and I've made it clear when others, not mistakenly, but when they intentionally did the community wrong. I've held them accountable to the best of my ability. Even if it wasn't a home run, it was a good hard hit, and it was slightly foul. But I think I've done well. I think I've served you well. I think I've done a great job with analyzing our expenses, analyzing our lack of reporting, our lack of transparency. And under my administration, you will never have to put in an Oprah request. Every single document is a public document. You're entitled to it. You shouldn't have to wait 7 days. You shouldn't be given a runaround. You shouldn't have a lawyer who's being slick around his language. You shouldn't have a BA who doesn't care, who's done something else. You have to have a community person from here that understands what you want to see. And if your taxes are being impacted, every single piece of information you are deserving of. And you won't have to go through the turmoil that I had to go through over the last 12 years. You won't be banging your head against my door. Any request you make, it will be presented to you. And that is a promise, that's a guarantee. Thank you.
Mayor Sayer?
I give myself an incomplete, and that's why I'm running for another term, because we have more work to do in this city. I just want to remind everyone that I was the mayor during the pandemic, which was arguably the most difficult period in human history. It was a once-in-a-century crisis. And I made that choice to lead from the front. And we were recognized for the fact that we were saving lives in this city, that the contact tracing program that we had was being modeled throughout the United States. The vaccination program was hailed as the best in the city. And quite frankly, one thing I promised when I first took office is that we weren't going to burden the general budget with recreation or other items. We would write grants. We hired a grant. For the first time in Patterson's history, we had a grant writer, and we have brought in $100 million to improve our roads, our parks, our athletic fields. And we've introduced these programs that I talked about earlier. And areas where I recognize we need to improve clearly with cleanliness. And that's why we focused on trying to engage the community. This morning I was with our Deputy Director, Michael G. Jackson, on Summer Street. Every Friday we initiate a clean sweep where, based on what residents tell us, we visit a certain section of our city, we bring our DPW crew and we make sure that we clean it. But we tell people we're cleaning by example. You need to follow our lead. So that's something that I want to continue to improve in the next term, so that we can inspire other people to take pride in Patterson to keep our community clean. On Saturdays, we have an initiative through Clean Communities, once again responding to residents' requests so that we can make sure that we get to these areas that unfortunately have been plagued. But I think almost everyone can agree in this room, it's about accessibility. You know that you can reach me. You can text me at any time, you can call me at any time, and I'll respond. You'll get the results. And if you don't, I'll tell you the truth. But at the very least, you'll get the return text, you'll get the return call, knowing that I am accountable and accessible to you. And so that's why I give myself an incomplete, because we still have more work to do.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you for the question. Before I answer the question, I really want to go back to the ticket, the recycling ticket. It sounds like a good joke. It sounds, and it is, because back in 2022, I was the only person in the entire city of Patterson that got a recycling ticket. The only person. And I fight a ticket for 2 years in court, and they lost against me. 2 years in court, in the court in Clifton. You know I don't give up. I'm a fighter. I don't give up. They lost it because they used the garbage from my neighbor to give me that ticket, and it was him that sent me. I was running against him back in 2022. And he used one of the inspectors. The same way he going around campaigning with staff from the city, from City Hall in work hours. But Patterson, I want you to pay attention to this. Councilman Jackson got a ticket after midnight, and I got a ticket for street cleaning. This person uses power to go after people when they disagree. I want you to take this in your mind and go home with this. You don't need evil in City Hall. When a person uses their power to go after people because they disagree or they have a different agenda, that's very evil. We could agree and disagree on everything. But when you have a person that go after your family, that go after you, that's evil. And if you don't want to vote for me on May 12th, rightfully so. You got Councilman Jackson's choice. Rightfully so. But please think about this. You got to take evil out of government, because it's very dangerous. That person hurts a lot of people. And there's a former school board member that I can speak about what I'm talking about. And I'm going to leave it at that. Going back to how I'll grade myself, I truly believe that, that's the public that have the job to grade it myself. I could tell you, I'm the only person sitting in this place right now that I could sit with any person, could be my worst enemy, if it's for the betterment of the city. And I've been proving since I've been elected in 2020. I'm a leader, I'm a very respectful person. I know how to work with people, I know how to bring people together, and that's what you need. You need a mayor who's gonna be able to listen to your need and understand that I'm here for you. If you look at my legislation, my track record, it will speak for itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for, Councilman, did you give your grade? Folks are asking for your grade that you gave yourself.
I truly believe that the community will be the one that will give me the grade May 12 once they elect me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just for some clarity, we will not get to all of the questions. I'm pretty sure you folks understand that. And some questions that you sent up are already incorporated in the questions that we have went over. So we'll try to get to as many questions as possible. We'll try not to duplicate questions. For those of you who sent up questions directly related to one person, what we will do, we'll give that person, each person, one question directly toward them. Fair enough? Yeah. Thank you for your support. Next question. I lost my space. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Jackson. Tax relief strategies. With homeowners struggling to afford high property taxes, what concrete measures will you propose to provide relief while still funding essential city services?
First, I have to address it. Council Mendez, if I was so evil, why were you rubber stamping everything I presented to the council for 2 years, these last 2 years? And please, listen to instructions. Don't talk more about me, talk more about you. That's what we want to hear. So what's important is you have to have relationships to get resources to our residents. And I work closely with our legislative delegation. So we have our Senator Benji Wimberly, we have our Assemblyman Al Abdelaziz, and we also have our new Assemblyman Kenyatta Stewart. And property tax relief in the form of Anchor has benefited residents, and also Stay NJ, which they've expanded as well. But one other benefit that I have is that I was an early endorser of our new governor, Mikey Sherrill, and she remembers that. And I'm going to make sure that whatever property tax relief program that she initiates will benefit the city of Patterson, because she made it her #1 priority to address affordability. That's why we elected her. And we understand that people are struggling. Over a week ago, I partnered with a nonprofit organization to help people save money on their PSE&G bills. Electricity bills have skyrocketed. And through a letter that I sent to residents, 500 people have already signed up for this program. And at that forum, we had 50 more people sign up for the program. So we understand that affordability is an issue, and we have to partner with nonprofit organizations or other levels of government to provide that relief. And I can't emphasize enough how many people that I engage every day and talk about the Financial Empowerment Center. They've never heard of it before. But if you haven't, one of the most salient points that stands out about this program is that we've helped over 1,000 residents save in non-mortgage debt $3.5 million. So if you've not heard about it, please find out more to see how you can benefit, because we have helped save money for residents through this program and through partnerships with reducing electricity bills.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson. You need me to repeat the question?
No. No, I'll make sure I actually answer the question. Well, the first thing we're gonna have to do is equalize taxation. Right now, the residents are carrying the burden of everything. In fact, this current administration chooses to target the residents to make money whenever there's a deficit. Today's clean sweep, if you will, on Summer Street is an example of that. So we go out here, we unfairly target residents, we tow cars away at $300 a clip. The tow company makes money See, those kind of tactics, they don't actually help the taxpayer. They help candidates during election season, because then those companies are making bigger donations. So we're gonna end that. We're gonna do an inventory on every single facility in the city. How many of those car shops you know that are working without a license? Those car dealerships that's stacking your neighborhood with cars that's coming off these trucks every single day, right? And on every single corner, you might have 4 corners, and 3 of the corners are occupied by the businesses doing the same thing. So that's fine. If you're doing a legitimate business, we want to understand that. We want to help you do a legitimate business, but we also want you to carry the burden fairly. We don't want to just pass the burden on to the taxpayers. That's what's happening right now. We're cutting deals with large-scale developers. We're allowing businesses to get away with certain situations so that when we do decide that we want to run for Congress or we want to run for another seat, we'll have a long list of donors. So we're not going to do that. I don't have any desire to be a congressman. In fact, former Assemblywoman Shavonda something and I sat and met for breakfast one day, and that was a talk over 10 years ago. I don't have a desire to be a politician. I'm not here to be a politician. I'm here to be an advocate for my community, to make sure that we're all treated fairly. It is unfair for us to go through certain things that we're going through, and we know just right next door, they're not experiencing the same things. We're impacted differently. The way that our assessments are done, we allow for the county to unfairly target us and come after us to make us do reassessments, and we never push back. We never push back on any other municipalities when they send their troubles our way. We're spending great tax dollars on Narcan. We're overspending on all the facilities that we got to outfit, and asking for all these nonprofits to do the job that the municipal government should do is a gross failure. Because those nonprofits are then doing what? They're not paying taxes. They're coming off the tax rolls, and we're expecting them to provide low-income housing. We're expecting for them to provide drug rehabilitation services while we run around, take pictures, and cut ribbons. It's not the kind of government that you will see when I'm in office.
Councilman Mendez?
You repeat the question?
Absolutely. With many homeowners struggling to afford high property taxes, what concrete measures will you propose to provide relief while still funding essential city services?
Thank you so very much for the question. I truly believe that one of the things that happened, if you look around, out of the 23,000 homeowners that we have, if you take the commercial portion and you take the industrial, we have roughly 18,000 homeowners. And they are the one carrying that heavy weight of the entire tax bill that we pay, which is horrible. That's the reason why you see so many Pattersonians, especially my ward, putting a for sale in the house, moving out because they can't afford it no more. We gotta be mindful that in order for us to stop that, we gotta be responsible, and we have to bring the city back on track. What I mean by that? This administration they leaving millions of dollars on the table. If you look at the building department, what I've done with the building department, there's so many departments that we could bring real revenue into that, and that's what I'm gonna look at. In my administration, I'm gonna have a project manager who's gonna oversee also different entities. We're gonna see how much revenue can you bring for all those different departments by enforcing the law that we already have in the book to make sure that we bring revenue to help our homeowners. Patterson is one of the greatest cities and one of the first industrial city in the nation because our location is key. We're 20 minutes away from New York City. Think about this. We don't have any major corporation here. We don't have any name brand store here. But why is that? It's because we have to be honest. We have to change the perception of the city of Patterson. Nobody's gonna come with it on a city that the crime rate's high, that is filthy. Once you get into Patterson, you see the garbage, the dumping. We have to get our city back on track. And my job is, as your mayor, I've been in business for over 20 years. I'm gonna look into those big corporations to bring those corporations back into Patterson, renovate the downtown area, make sure that we create real job for a Patterson resident. That's where you bring money into the tax roll. With a developer, the CBS agreement have to be signed. Those developers that are building, that 20% that they have to put on the table, they have to add it to help the city move in the right direction in terms of project that we need to do it. That way we don't go back into the taxpayer to use money from them to build those projects. So we gotta bring Patterson back on track. We gotta make it safe, clean it, and we need to attract those companies to create real job for our Patterson residents. That's how we'll help our homeowners. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Councilman Mendez, correct? Thank you. The state gave $30 million to the Patterson Police Department for technology and overtime. With the state reducing those funds, how will you support the initiatives going forward without overtaxing the taxpayer?
I mentioned the $8.5 million at the beginning because that's additional, and I remember when the state came in and took over the police department because of the lack of leadership of this administration, they came with $10 million on their hand. And what I'm going to do is I truly believe that instead of using those 8.5, which is what we have now, I will use that money to bring additional manpower into the community to be able to help our residents and not going back into the taxpayer to bring safety into our community. That will be the best way to utilize those $8.5 million that we have from the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson.
Can you repeat the question?
The state gave over $30 million to the Patterson Police Department for technology and overtime. With the state reducing those funds, how will you support these initiatives going forward without overtaxing the taxpayer?
So that 30 million wasn't the only gift the state gave. Under this administration, we've seen more money than you can add Jones, Torres, and Barnes all together. This administration has seen more money than all three combined. $80 million from COVID, $140 million in tax credits, $40 million that was squandered over there in the business incubator from the PRC. I mean, it's an endless amount of money. So now the state then comes in, they give us this money because they took over our police department. And quite honestly, the police department has not functioned better since. The current OIC, Murray, is doing a phenomenal job. He's very assertive and receptive to meeting with community members. He called me after he saw a young lady's live and said, "Councilman, I know you know her. Can you set up a one-on-one with her?" It's never happened before. So I definitely think the state owed the city that, but there's a lot more that they owe us. But here's what's scary. The mismanagement of all of those funds that I just talked about, the $140 million, those are tax credits. The responsible thing to do with those tax credits is to invest it into something that will return a residual return. That means something that will continue to make money year in and year after. We spent it on something that's never going to come back. We had an opportunity to invest it in a hotel and a 12,000-seat arena. Just imagine AAU tournaments once a year, exotic car shows, Patti LaBelle concerts, Rico Suave concerts. You could have had every single weekend. You can have a soccer team from Peru come here. And every weekend, our city would have been drawing traffic. We're wishing the Great Falls is going to do a great thing for us and bring people in. It's not going to happen. So, yes, the state has invested a great deal of money, and we've allowed it to be squandered, and we have to have more responsible spending. We have to have a vision for the city first. And we have to create situations that's going to return residual income, draw traffic in. Both, even the plan that Councilman Mendez just talked about with introducing more developers. That's just allowing some outside entity to continue to make money, to continue to overcrowd our community, and continue to raise the rent levels to a place where none of us can afford. So responsible spending and making sure that we invest in things that's going to impact our community directly. We did not do that over the last 8 years. Thank you.
Mayor Sayer?
Councilman Jackson is right. My administration has brought in more money than many administrations combined. As a matter of fact, I talked about it earlier. We have a grant writer, and we've brought in over $100 million. But it's also important to have relationships with the governor, with our United States senators, with our legislative delegation. And we believe that as a result of those relationships, we've been able to bring in those money. And we have not squandered money. In fact, a part of that Hinchliffe Stadium project, we used the money to build affordable housing that I stated before with 75 units. And something that was innovative, we have a grandparents raising grandchildren affordable housing project as well. So people have benefited from the fact that we've utilized those tax credits to address needs like affordable housing. But the question was about funding for the police. And yes, for the last few years, we received $10 million. And that number has been reduced to $8.5 million because in the past, not all of the money was necessary to be used. So the decision that was made by the state was, let's give them what they've been using. And we've been using $8.5 million for extra patrols, for overtime, to increase police presence. So that is the reason why you've seen the reduction in $8.5 million. But it doesn't mean that the men and women of the police department aren't working hard, because they are driving down crime. But to state it before, it's a collaboration. Crime is not something that you can just police all of it away. It's about engagement. And I believe that through Community Affairs, our police unit within the police department, we've been able to establish that trust that was broken with the public, so that people are not afraid to say that they've seen something and we need to take action. But the $8.5 million is appreciated, and it will continue to be utilized effectively to keep our streets safe. Thank you.
Thank you. As we take a quick commercial, we won't be long. We won't be long. Let me just say, I am proud to say that I am from Patterson. This room, I know what you look like, but this room is very, very civil. And this is what we need from our community and from our elected officials. And so far, I want to jinx us, we're doing pretty good. Okay, let's keep it that way. So this will lead directly into the next question. Councilman Jackson, you're up next. Promoting civility in governance. The City Council has faced criticism for infighting and disrespectful behavior. As mayor, how will you foster a culture of civility and cooperation among council members and city officials?
So what I would always like to do is just kind of bring you back to various times through the council. Everyone knows, it's no secret, I ran against the current mayor during his first tenure, and I lost. I wasn't a sore loser about it. In fact, the former Jay, it was Patterson Times, he called me the mayor's rubber stamp, because during that time, I thought he made some very good decisions. He appointed people who I respected, Vaughn McCoy and Khalifa Shabazz. And I felt that in me going in opposition of him while they were at his side is a direct opposition of them. And I'm not giving them a fair opportunity to serve our community. In fact, I had many conversations sitting next to Councilwoman Davila. People didn't have the respect for Vaughn McCoy. I'm saying, listen, he's an attorney, he's former assistant attorney general. After a few months went by, and there was several things that I made an attempt to get accomplished, and I just saw that it wasn't going to happen, and there was deals that I was unwilling to concede to, giving someone a 75 by 100 property lot that had over $3 million in tax liens on it, giving it to somebody for $25,000. I wasn't in favor of that. I don't care if they were black and they played with you in college. No, we need people in our community to have those kinds of opportunities. That was the very first measure that I went against. Then it was a request that I made, and from there, it just kind of spiraled out of control. And I'll say this, I've watched many council meetings. I watched many council meetings, and yes, I will acknowledge there's been a few moments, but this is very, it's very common around the country when there's passion involved and when there's corruption involved. And what I'm telling you that's in Patterson, it is a blatant level of corruption. And I cannot sit silent and watch how these things happen and allow myself to be silenced now with a new clerk that's misquoting the Robert rules and an attorney that's saying shall is ambiguous. So if I'm getting some heat for fighting on your behalf, there's never one item that I've asked for myself. And I've challenged all, the mayor, other council members, if there's one item that you can challenge me on my vote or on my conviction for, tell me what that is and I'll resign today. But they cannot do that. But I can tell you multiple items that every single vote and every single action has been against the community's best interests. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Say.
I'm a proud Pattersonian. Patterson is the only home that I've ever known. It's where I was raised by a single mother and where my wife and I are raising our 3 children, who are all Patterson Public School students. I take pride in telling people wherever I go that I live in the city of Patterson. In fact, like I stated before, many of the people in this room met me when I served on the school board and later on the city council. And I'd like to believe that I did it not only with pride, but with dignity. Because I never wanted to embarrass anyone who put me in a position to serve. And I never wanted to embarrass my family, and I never wanted to embarrass myself. And working hard with people who really care about our city, we've restored integrity to City Hall and the mayor's office. We're not embarrassing our city. People are taking our city seriously. If you're bringing in a record amount of money, as far as funding is concerned, it's because people believe in your leadership. And I want to continue with that legacy of integrity, because it says something to be a Pattersonian. You stated it earlier, Lieutenant Price, we're from Patterson. We know how to conduct ourselves accordingly. And so civility is something that I take pride in, whether it was when I was on the school board, city council, or serving in the best job I've ever had as the mayor of the city of Patterson. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I was elected in 2010 at the Patterson Board of Education. I've been elected since then. And I feel proud about the way I conducted myself. And actions speak louder than words. Social media is great, because I would recommend some people to go back into the election back in 2022 and see the mayor in some altercation. But I take pride of the way I conducted myself. I've been putting a lot of legislation on the floor, been having a lot of discussion with my colleague. I could agree or disagree with you, but I would never disrespect you. And I say, as I mentioned again, actions speak louder than words. Patterson is my home, and I take pride when I serve the city of Patterson. And when I go out, I represent my city and my city with dignity and respect. Just look at my record. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to switch gears, and we're going to ask questions directly for each person. So we'll start with Councilman Jackson. You spoke of trauma as a result of development efforts. Often while watching and attending city council meetings, I feel traumatized along with other residents. How will you handle this?
Well, hopefully he's not traumatized from my responses, but let me tell you a little bit about I had two moments of outbursts, if you will. The first was after Najee Seabrooks was murdered, and his entire family poured into the council chambers, including young people that was very frustrated, very upset, and our CFO, who did not feel as if it was a sensitive moment. I guess he was having a private conversation with someone next to him, and he had an exchange of words with young people that was in the audience. Now, when I see Mr. McDowell here, a few weeks before, George Floyd was murdered, and we all gathered outside of the library on Broadway. And as I was leaving, I'm going into a business, I happened to see snipers that was coming out with all the sniper gear out of the business. Now, at this rally, you had Alonzo Moody, you had Benji Wembley, you had people like Kemper McDowell, you had people like myself, you had children there, And that PD leadership felt that it was necessary to put snipers on the roof. That left an impression with me. When Najee Seabrooks was murdered, there was vans of patrol outside. There was 50 officers downstairs. There was 40 officers upstairs. There was officers in the chamber. So an outburst targeting a young person of color at that moment jeopardized his life, in my opinion. If that was my son, I would want someone to stand up for him in that moment, because we know what the response was going to be from the young man who just lost a family member. It was out of line for the CFO to do what he did. Now go back and watch the video. You'll see. I said, why would you say that? Shut up, man. I was upset. I was frustrated. He then turned around and gestured like he would come up and get out of his seat. And I said, I wish you would do that. He got up, walked towards me. I walked towards him. Was it the right thing to do? Possibly not, but it was definitely the right thing to do, because if that young man would have had that same exchange, he was getting pulled out of there in handcuffs, or possibly worse. It would have been a melee in there. So, do I have challenges or beliefs that I could make different decisions? Yes, but I do not regret the decisions that I make, because we should never have been put in that situation to begin with. Najee's life should not have been taken, and the administration, everyone should have had the space under better control than it did. And because it wasn't, that outburst happened. So I don't apologize for that. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. This next question is directly for the mayor. With all of the development going on in the city, with all of the tax abatements that are happening, how does the taxpayer benefit from these abatements?
So let me just elaborate on something. These abatements are a result of a state law. In 2013, the city of Patterson participated in a program called the Garden State Growth Zone. And the sponsor was Senator Benji Wimberly, and our delegation, at that time he was assemblyman, but we participated in this program to incentivize investment in the city of Patterson. And I stated earlier, we had well over 2,000 abandoned properties. Now we have fewer than 200 as a result. Now, this Garden State Growth Zone, like I stated before, as of right, gave anyone doing new construction in our city of Patterson an abatement. It does not mean, for the record, that people do not pay taxes. Over the course of whatever the pilot was established, whether it's 5, 10, or 20 years, full taxation will materialize at the end of the pilot. So taxes are being paid. And I must point out that many of these developers are also contributing to a fund that we created. So they're giving back, whether it's to improve our parks or to assist us with a recreation center. So there is a give back as far as these developers are concerned. But I have to point out that as long as the city of Patterson is the Garden State Growth Zone, as of right, state law, every new construction is entitled to that abatement.
Thank you. We've been doing good.
That didn't answer the question.
Doing good.
They're saying that didn't answer the question.
Okay. Councilman Mendez, this question is directly for you. What have you done in the 3rd Ward that you can take full credit for?
Thank you so very much. By the way, you're doing such a hell of a great job. Oh my God, it's amazing. You keep everybody on point. So let me just say that. And listen, I tell you, I feel proud to be the councilman of the 3rd Ward. I've been living there for the last 20 years. I started paying taxes 20 years ago in the 3rd Ward, owning few property in the 3rd Ward, and now as a councilman, I wake up every morning. Those that live in the 3rd Ward, that go by East 40, East 39, they see me driving around 7 o'clock in the morning, making sure that there's no dumping in the 3rd Ward, and if there's some dumping, calling DPW, making sure that I don't see commercial vehicle parking in the 3rd Ward. I call Francis Harris on my councilway immediately. I'm on top of the 3rd Ward. And when you hear that, I mean, that I work with administration, yes, I work with this administration throughout the resurfacing of the project. throughout the resurface, and many roads need to be resurfaced. And I can say, listen, when I see some resurface a project, yes, I would never say no to any resurface a project in the third ward. East 34, East 35, I gotta fight for it. That's my work. I need to advocate for the things that need to be done, including River Street. Yes, I'm proud to do that. My question and my frustration comes is, well, I voted and I give the power to the administration. But then it's their job to get it right. Let me just give you an example. On River Street, we hired a third-party company to oversee the project. When they start doing the project, I was there every single day. I saw in that the agreement was to have one person on site to oversee the project. I saw that person one time only, and then that person disappeared. We as a council approved the contract with a third-party company. Since then, I've been fighting because administration, they're not holding anybody accountable for the job. We pay millions of dollars for a project, and they're not watching the taxpayer dollars. Another clear example, 9th Avenue was fixed 2 months ago. 9th Avenue was fixed in the last 40 years. 2 months ago was fixed. Now they open the road. I want you to drive by 9th Avenue. They put a patch, it looked like it's a huge speed bump that we have on 9th Avenue, and it was fixed 2 months ago. I was part of the person that worked on the legislation with Councilman Morris to make sure that the company fix the road the way they're supposed to fix it with the same standard of quality. It's the administration that need to hold everybody accountable once the city council approve those projects. So I feel very proud to be the councilman of the third ward. And I love my third ward, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is for the panel. Trust and accountability. This question is for the entire panel. Trust and accountability. Given that the current mayor does not attend city council meetings or hold town halls, how can you assure residents that you will prioritize community engagement and be responsive to their needs? That question starts with Councilman Mendez.
Thank you for the question. And I always say, pay attention to this. I always say that actions speak louder than words because you just need to see how people act. This mayor never been in the last 8 years at one city council meeting, maybe once. As your mayor, it will be my job to be sitting there, work with my fellow council members to get the job done. And that's something that I'm looking forward to do. Holding people accountable, you must as a mayor. If you have the best interest of the community at heart, you will be there at the city council. That's something that I'm looking forward to do. I'm looking forward to hold every person accountable for the job that they have to do. And in my cabinet, all my staff, they need to live in Patterson. If we're gonna fix the city of Patterson, it's gonna be with all of us included. With all of us. We have so many great people with great talents right here in the city of Patterson that we could bring them. But in order for us to do that, we have to change the leadership that we have in the second floor. But there's so many great people in Patterson that they could work here and impact the life of the resident of this city on the right direction. And I truly looking forward to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Sayer?
Before I answer that question, I do want to revisit the question earlier about the abandoned properties and the abatements. One of the benefits of having fewer vacant abandoned properties is the fact that as a result of having fewer abandoned and vacant properties, we've had fewer fires. That's been reduced by 50%. And no one wants to see any eyesores or crime magnets in their neighborhoods. So that does also improve the property value or increase the property value of the people living in those neighborhoods. But as far as trust is concerned, I don't need to attend a city council meeting. I need to be with you. You'll see me in church, you'll see me at a school, you'll see me on the street. And most importantly, I don't miss a day of work. I have, for the last 8 years, made it a point, even if I wasn't at 100%, never taken a sick day, gone into work, and made sure that we address these critical issues. I'm always up for the challenge, because every day presents an opportunity for improvement. You know that you've put your faith in me in the past to serve on the school board and on the city council, and now as mayor. It's about public trust. And so I don't have to elaborate any further. The reason why that I have been elected to represent you is because I believe that there's been that level of trust between you and between me.
Councilman Jackson.
You're doing a phenomenal job, Mr. Price. You're doing a phenomenal job. So, there is no trust or accountability that's existing right now. Let me give you some examples of that. This administration has more of a turnover in their administrative staff than any administration in the history of Patterson. There was a record broken, and a BA who took the job, and less than 3 months later, he said, listen, I can't do this. In fact, the stress was so much, he was falling out. He could not take the level of stress with the corruption going on. We had a woman named Deborah Hannibal who has 3 master's degrees, who was forced out of personnel while we brought in a personnel director who didn't even have a college degree at the time. We had Marge Sharon, who's a CPA, who worked for the city of Patterson when Graves was here. She's been the CFO, the budget officer for multiple municipalities around the state. They pushed her out by removing a line item out of the budget illegally and then gave her a celebration on the way out. And then they conspired recently, right? If you go back, I'm going to post it later. The mayor says when he did the swearing in, Councilwoman Davila and I, we met her at Legal Municipality. She approached me. Then Councilwoman Mim says, the council has one person that we hire as the clerk. But yet the mayor says this young lady approached him in Atlantic City. He brought Councilwoman Davila over. And then 5 minutes later, Councilwoman Davila gets the mic. Let me be clear, I never met this woman a day in my life until the interview. Where's the trust and accountability? It doesn't exist. See, and that's why, so if you look at and you ask why the turmoil, because where is the lack of facts? These are all factual occurrences. We have zero trust and accountability in this community, in our city right now. Our municipal government has been under siege. And there's some people that do have integrity, like Mr. Mark Seaman. He took the job and said, listen, I'm not doing this. What I don't respect about it is he wasn't a whistleblower. He should have blew the whistle on the fact that there was 375s being signed off on, or it was not signed off on by the BA, and they tried to get him to sign after the fact because they hired people illegally, and these people that they hired and gave raises to, they're not from Patterson. Our code, our ordinance says you must be a bona fide resident of the city of Patterson. That's where the trust is. Or that's where the trust is not.
Okay. I have to say the audience has given some tough questions. Some of your questions I could not read because they were kind of mean, so I did skip those. It's okay, you can blame me, I take full responsibility. But this is what this is. You wrote down your feelings and your concerns, so that was fair. We just can't, you heard your question, it just maybe wasn't answered fully in the way you wrote it. I had to cut off the end for certain reasons. But you wrote your questions, you understand. So next we're gonna do a little rapid fire. We're closing up. So you're gonna have 30 seconds to answer the question. I'm not gonna tell you how to answer your question. You have 30 seconds, and we will start with Councilman Jackson, and we'll go in order, and we'll keep going until our time is up. First question. What is your plan to combat panhandling and prostitution on the streets?
So I wrote a panhandling ordinance. It has never been enforced. Where panhandling is absolutely illegal in our community, we're going to enforce those issues. We're going to make sure that we take inventory of where these people are coming from, hold their neighboring communities accountable. Just the other day, there was a police car. My mother does outreach every Friday. Tonight, you can go over by Walgreens. You'll see her serving our community. She does it on Sundays. There's police units from other communities that just come in here. You're coming from Ocean Township, dropping people off in Patterson. No, we're going to hold them accountable. We'll put license plate readers at the inlets of all our community outlets and make sure we hold those communities accountable. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I stated earlier, we created a program called Real Fix.
Stand by. Timekeeper, you ready? Go.
Created a program called Real Fix to help people who are struggling with drug addiction get treatment. But one thing we're also looking to introduce is a homelessness coordinator. Something that we've been sorely lacking. Someone who can align all of these efforts, whether it's the reentry efforts, for the drug addiction efforts, and that one individual will be responsible for helping secure housing for these individuals that unfortunately have been chronically unhoused.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you for the question. In 30 seconds, I just want to share with you, I introduced a legislation, it's called Patterson Bridge Program. I bring together all the grassroots entity like Black Lives Matter, Hearts of Hannah, and we create a perfect legislation to take people off the street with housing, transition housing, with people professionals that will do mental health in addition. And it is amazing legislation. I'm looking forward to implement it. The reason why we have so many panhandlers is because this administration, they haven't enforced any legislation on that. You see people panhandling everywhere, and it's all about enforcement. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you. Next question. Do you believe that there should be a cap on rental rates, and how would you enforce that? Councilman Jackson.
Absolutely, it should be. In fact, one of the provisions that's been skated around by the developers when they buy these older houses, instead of refurbishing them, they knock them down because they remove themselves from being qualified to be enforced with rent control. Rent control could be, it's essential in our community. We definitely need it, but unfortunately, those new facilities that have 30-year mortgages, they're no longer eligible. We're gonna make sure that we go back and we enforce it on all, especially a lot of these subsidized facilities where they're increasing the rent rates out of control. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
I do agree with the cap, and I'll give you an actual example. The Rent Leveling Board found that there was a landlord who was unfairly increasing the rent on the residents. And so the residents took action, and the Rent Leveling Board sided with the residents. What the landlord did was sue them. My administration, our corporation counsel, represented the Rent Leveling Board in court, and that was dismissed. So that is an example of the accountability we're taking and the fact that we are committed to a cap.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you. In 30 seconds, definitely I agree, it should be a cap. But I will definitely work with the Patterson Housing Authority. And I mentioned this is extremely important. You need to create competition. Under my administration, there's going to be an office who will take care of all the complaints and all the issues from tenants. In Patterson, our tenants are suffering, they're living on the deplorable condition, apartment with mold, leaking, and the administration, they're not taking care of that. Under my watch, that will be taken care, and I will work with the Patterson Housing Authority to create competition. I will give that power for bonding, and we're gonna come back aggressively in terms of first-time home buyer and also affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move to close, but before we do that, we're going to give each candidate 3 minutes to give their closing remarks. Each candidate will get 3 minutes to give their closing remarks. We will start on this end with Councilman Jackson. Ready, Councilman?
Yes.
Timekeeper? Go.
First, I want to thank all of you for taking time out to make sure that this is important. This is a very important election. It's a pivotal moment for us right now. What I want to be clear is that under my leadership, you can depend on what I've been giving you for the last 10 years. Honesty, integrity, truth, whether it's something you want to hear or not. I won't, and I'm going to continue, as I'm going to do now, in holding everyone else accountable. We talk about the as of right tax abatements. That is a total lie. The administration has to sign off on every single one of those tax abatements. For certain people, it's an automatic. We know that. But other people are having challenges. Brook Slope, for example. They've been promised for how long? They've been dangling a carrot at them for the longest time for their tax abatement. And if that's a lie, let someone else stand up and say it's a lie. But yet, a developer who's contributed nothing to our community, who don't sponsor teams. Yes, you might buy a bus here and there, but that's not enough for a 30-year tax abatement on 100 different units. I will put the priority where it belongs, on you. The vacant and abandoned buildings, will take ownership of them, or at least stewardship. You have the 7-Eleven building on the corner of Main and Market. We're going to turn that into a full-fledged technology center where young kids can go and learn how to record, learn how to do broadcasting, learn how to do anything that has to do with media, something that they're interested in. The old skating ring on West Broadway, we're going to take that and turn it into a full sports training facility with a state-of-the-art weight room, speed and agility training, allowing our kids to do something that we used to do in the past, and that's fairly compete against small towns like Ridgewood that's kicking our tail all over the place because we're not putting any effort into our children. We're going to put the focus where it belongs. We're going to pay coaches to participate and stop making coaches have to contribute to take care of the responsibility of the city. We have to do what's best for the community and not what's best for the outside developers. Everyone sees Patterson as a cash bank. I was talking to a young brother, in fact, I'm going to put him on blast. Many of you know him, you can go ask him. I was talking to Todd Jackson, who lives on 11th Ave. He said he saw some Hasidic Jews walking through the neighborhood. He went and asked them, hey, what's your allure to Patterson? Well, your government allows us to do whatever we want to. And go ask him. That's not, something I'm making up. That's what they said. And if they see our community that way, how does everybody else? Under Mike Jackson's leadership, Patterson will be respected, it will be appreciated, and you all will be treated as a priority. That you have my promise on. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
First, that is a lie about Brook Slope. But I will mention that Patterson is a work in progress. And we've made progress because we've done work. But there's more work to be made or done because there's more progress for us to achieve. And quite frankly, we are respected. The governor, Mikey Sherrill, is fully committed to the city of Patterson as far as funding is concerned. And I will point out that we've repaved over 176 streets in these 7+ years. And we will continue to repave our streets, whether it's the final reconstruction of River Street, Railroad Avenue, and the lower portion of Governor Street. We revitalized our parks. I remember when I was a councilman, it hurt whenever a parent of a child with a special need came up and said, we don't have a single playground to accommodate my child. And now we have 10 inclusive playgrounds for children with special needs. We're also improving lives. The Financial Empowerment Center, there are success stories of people who become homeowners as a result of the program, business owners as a result of the program, and save money so they could stay in their homes as a result of this program as well. We're doing a tremendous amount of development here at the Great Falls so that people can come in and spend money in our city. The old Libby site was sold to a family from Patterson who was owning and operating this restaurant and trying to become a success story in our city as well. You'll see in coming weeks that we will be introducing this film studio, which I can't understate enough. It's a $250 million investment in Patterson. If people were not taking our city seriously, this would not happen. And it will afford opportunities for residents, opportunities for individuals that own restaurants or hardware stores or barber shops or hair salons. But more importantly, jobs for people to work at this film studio and for aspiring actors and actresses in the city. We know we have many of them. But I think the best part of it is that students from Rosa Parks High School will benefit from having a film studio in our city so they can have apprenticeships and internships that they can learn and grow from. And quite frankly, we were able to lure Gromex, which is the largest food distributor on the East Coast, to create jobs for our city and generate tax revenue. I take tremendous pride in the fact that I've never embarrassed the city, that you wouldn't have to read about me getting involved in anything that I shouldn't be. I'm a family man. I'm a family man who takes my family very seriously. And you, this city, are my extended family. Because sometimes I spend more time with the public than I do with my very own family. And so I'm proud of the fact that we've restored integrity to City Hall. And we want people to know that if elected, integrity is not going anywhere. I would like to stay in City Hall and keep integrity with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you for this amazing forum. Thank you for each and every one of you for being here. This election is extremely important for the city of Patterson. I truly believe that having this administration for 8 years in position, and they continue promising about having a building rec center, creating jobs. After 8 years, I think enough is enough. If you think about it, tell me one thing that this administration has impacted your life on in terms of the high taxes. This administration, they allow his friend to take such advantage of this city. Enough is enough. You need a mayor who's gonna care about you, a mayor who's gonna work 24/7 to get Patterson back on track. And to call Patterson first, think about our youth. We're building park. Our children, they cannot utilize those parks. Look at the family, live in the city of Patterson because they can't afford it. You need a mayor who's gonna come here and start creating jobs from day one and start working and addressing the issues that are affecting our community. And that person will be me. You have two real candidates, whether it's me, Alex Mendes, 1A, whether it's Councilman Jackson. But this mayor that has been sitting there for 8 years, just think about the condition of the city where we are right now. And after 8 years, you're telling me that you promised me all this kind of thing. I think that the community is smarter than that. May 12th, I humbly ask you for your support to elect me as your mayor, and just give me one term. If you're not satisfied after 4 years, move on and elect somebody that I care about Patterson. God bless Patterson, and God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Before I turn the mic over, I'd like to say it has been a pleasure to serve the community at these two last debates. Before then, I would have questioned myself of whether or not I could handle this conversation, okay, and be delightful. And I think I was pretty delightful the last two occasions. So I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate the tone that was kept by our family in this room, from the panel and from the audience. And before I turn this over to Veronica, I'd just like to say to the candidates, and I will say this publicly, each one of you have my vote. So, without further ado, let me turn the mic over to the chairperson for this debate and the debate that was held on Monday, none other than Ms. Veronica O'Neill.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Let's give Dalton Price, the worshipful master, a big hand clap. He did an awesome job. You wouldn't know that he didn't know how he was going to handle it, but he did a great job. Just want to take time to thank our candidates. Give them a big hand. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you setting forth your platform for the city of Patterson, and we look forward to seeing what the end result is going to be. Everyone here, there were some oohs and ahs in the audience, so it's going to be interesting. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming out. It's a Friday night. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. So that means that this was important to you, and we're glad that you're here. Thank you so much for coming. At this time, I want to also thank our timekeepers. They have a hard job, so we appreciate them as well. And I want to thank our partners. So Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated, Patterson Alumni Chapter is a lead in this particular event, and also the one that we had on Monday night with the council at large members. But we did not do this alone. We are a collective of concerned individuals and organizations in this community, and we wanted to get together to put on this forum so we would be able to have something for the residents of Patterson, so you could hear what the council people and the council candidates and the mayoral candidates had to say. So I'm going to call the organizations by name. If you could just stand up and let us know that you're here. First of all, we have the Patterson branch of the NAACP, AARP of Patterson, chapter number 15. We have Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Phi Psi Omega chapter, Delta Mu Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Integrity Lodge, number 51, PHA.
Just stay.
Lambda Upsilon chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. National Council of Negro Women of Passaic County Section. Passaic County chapter of the Links Incorporated. And the Patterson Coalition to Educate, Elevate, and Empower. So thank you to all of our partners. We appreciate you all. Oh, and the Deltas. I'm sorry, I'm about to leave y'all out. How am I going to do that? I won't be able to go home. Patterson Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. My lovely sisters. And also, special thanks to the Social Action Committee. These ladies have been working very hard all year long. So thank you all very much. Just before I turn this over to Reverend Clayton, I would just like to ask all of the organizations, before you leave, we would like to take a group photo so we can memorialize this event. So before you leave, please meet us out in the corridor so we can take a photo. And next we have the Reverend Dr. Kenneth Clayton of the St. Luke Baptist Church. He is going to give us our call to action, and he's going to pray us out. Thank you.
Well, all of the organizations that Veronica just called, if you're members of the organizations, please stand. Our call to action are the words of the late Congressman John Lewis. The vote is precious. It is almost sacred. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in democracy. Our challenge is on May 12th for all of us to use it. Let's pray. Thank you for this time together. Bless our efforts and work. In Christ's name, amen.
That's all, folks.
Good job, guys.
Yes, sir.
Good job, man.
Yes,
Good
sir.
job.
Thank you. Okay, sure.
Get the mic. I got it.
Hello, test one. Real quick, we just quickly, please make sure that you're gathering up any of your litter and garbage. We want to leave the Patterson Museum the way we found it, so please make sure you are gathering up your water bottles and things of that nature.
Appreciate you.
Yes, would the members of DST come up front real quick behind the candidates or actually all organizations. If you can fit, let's get behind the candidates for a photo op. Or a representative. Yep. Or should we take it out there? Yeah.
Stay seated. Let's go, let's go.
Representatives or the organizations, if you can, I think they want to take a picture up front with the candidates, and then we'll do another picture in the hallway, if I'm not mistaken.
He was not able to turn it on. He says, listen, I don't have any testing. I don't have anything yet.
We had it running the other day.
I know.
Hello, we need all the organizations to the front, please.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Eddie. So he said that's it? So he said that's it. We're gonna get it running.
Ladies and gentlemen, all organizations to the front, please.
All right. I'll call you. I'll call you.
Mike, because it's so good job, real good job. Let's talk about it. We'll get behind you.
Organizations, you're gonna be on this side, the side of the seats now. They switched it, the side of the seats. So if you stay on this side and sit, I guess.
Okay, listen up. Listen up. Excuse me.
Thank you, brother. Yeah,
Excuse me. Pardon me. If you're part of the organizations that are taking the picture, please stand on this side behind these chairs. Please. We can take the picture. You can go home. If you're not lined up in 30 seconds, you will not be in the picture. Behind these chairs. Behind these chairs.
What's that troublemaker?
Good trouble.
Good trouble.
As usual.
Have a seat, my brother.
Yes, ma'am.
I moved over. I was not.
Move in. Any other organizations, move in. Just move in.
I need everyone to get right in the middle, go behind. Good job, good job, good job. Miss Shirley Alexander, I can't see you. You're petite and beautiful. I need you to come up front a little bit. All right. Everyone else behind the candidates, please. And we're going to do our best to make it work.
I'm trying, baby.
All right. I need everyone behind the candidate. The candidates, we are about to take the picture in 1, 2, 3. If you are not focused or in the picture, then I'm sorry, because the candidates do have to go. Everyone behind the candidates? All right? Right? Jack, can you possibly turn the lights up in the main room? Jack, can you possibly turn the lights up in the main room?
Right here. Can I sit down?
All right. Keep her in it. All right, I'm in your way because we're not ready. Sorry. Yep. All right. Sorelai, Jalen, and Veronica, we're about to take the picture. So let's step in. And I think you all are going to have to go behind. This section, you're not going to be in the picture. You need to go behind. Members of the organization, you need to go behind in the middle, unfortunately. Yeah.
Go by mine. Go by mine.
Go that way. Yeah. Come on this side. Come on this side. Yeah.
If you behind
Can you
her,
see her?
she's gonna be in the picture.
Right. Exactly.
Tracy, you get it.
I'm getting in. All right, everybody look this way. We're going to practice on 1, 2, 3. Everyone look this way. Are you looking? Are you looking? Are you looking? All right, photographers, snap away for some test shots. Oh, one more. Yep, yep. All right.
Look, Tracy, you got to get in.
We're just doing some test shots. Just some quick test shots. And then Veronica, we